Happy Sunday, everybody. Still can't figure out how to go from my own account to this account. To go live, so I have to go to this account to go live. So I'm sorry about any confusion, and I'm sorry that I don't have all the people that I always tagged. So I always pray before I do any live or any readings of any kind, whether I'm reading to myself or reading to someone else, sharing a reading. I pray that only my higher power's words come out, not mine. I pray that God will give me this platform to use to spread His words of wisdom, not my own, and the wisdom of these awesome books that I'm going to share. So, first one is This Too Shall Pass. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and I do have Calm the Fuck Down. So, okay. Oops, I read that last night. Okay, Behind the Clouds. As above the darkest storm cloud shines the sun, serenely bright, waiting to restore to nature all the glory of its light, of His light. So behind each cloud of sorrow, so in each affliction stands, hid an angel with a blessing from the Father in His hands. And that was from Daniel Howard. Okay, the reading today is entitled A Trip to the Holy Land. Charlotte loved to travel and liked to write, so her dream was to be a travel writer. The perks of traveling the globe on an expense account were motivating. The white sand beaches of Saint-Tropez, Rio, Ambergris Caye, designer goggles for alpine slopes, and Birkenstocks for Dolomite hikes, Greece for culture, Providence for truffles, and Italy for sculpture. She listed destinations and taped posters to her wall. In her years of writing corporate brochures in a cold building in a boring town, she had stared at her posters of moonlit lagoons and wept over scores of rejected letters from travel magazines. She tried hard and had talent, but felt God was not giving her a single break. Finally, she got an overseas writing assignment. She was not to cover a 5-star resort for a magazine, but to write about a mission for charity. Charlotte did not tell the charity president that she had never known of a poor person that was deaf to panhandlers and was blind to shabby people holding handwritten cardboard signs. This is my ticket, she thought, to glamorous assignments in more exciting places. She made a fool out of herself before she even packed her bags when she met the president of the charity. He smiled and said, "You're going to the Holy Land." Charlotte replied, "There's been a mistake. My tickets are for Haiti." He just nodded and said, "You'll see." When she saw that she reached Haiti, she was horrified. Poor people slept in shifts, for there was no room in shanties for all of them to lie down. Ditches of raw sewage with a hellish stench ran through an endless, sweltering slum. A retired dentist from Milwaukee ran the medical clinic. He weighed infants on a rusty produce scale and gave to the most critical cases formula and medicine from his sparse stores. A toddler vomited a worm on Charlene's shoe. An infant died in her arms. She held its mother as the woman wept, and she dabbed her tears with her shirt tail. She brought the child a soft little gown and a wooden coffin because her mother had no money and could not bury her child in dignity. Charlotte was in the Holy Land, humbled by its poverty. On her last day, the poor people she had befriended gathered to say goodbye. They had given her all they had, their joy and their friendships and their love. It was the greatest gift of her life, but they wanted to give Charlotte more. The bereaved mother handed her a basket she had woven. It held a ripe, spotless mango, 2 fresh eggs, and a film canister filled with powdered milk. Charlotte was in the Holy Land, humbled by its generosity. Back home, she leafed through a travel magazine. The glitz and the glamour of exotic resorts did not intrigue her. She wanted to go back to the Holy Land and write about the people that nobody knows or cares about. God had finally answered her 10 years of prayers to make her a travel writer, but He responded in a way she could not have imagined before she went to Haiti. Now Charlotte has been to 30 countries. She has slept in bamboo huts and in crumbling little guest houses with no addresses. She has worshipped in a church that had shower curtains for walls and the sky for a roof. She had broken bread with lepers and shared her granola bars with refugees. She was welcomed by people speaking languages she'd never heard. In one African village, Charlotte shared a meal with the women prepared an old metal pot over an open fire, where they ate with sticks. Something in that pot gave her dysentery, but the day she had spent together filled with her spirit and still warms her, that still fills her with spirit and warms her heart. She has laughed and prayed and cried with some of the poorest people on the earth. She has found that they are so rich in faith, love, and wisdom that she is honored and eager to write their stories. On every trip to the Holy Land of God's poor, she is humbled by his plan for her. Wow. We all have a plan for our lives that is built on our dreams. We think we know ourselves well enough to make the best plan. This plan can turn into prayers. When they're not answered, we pray harder. Sometimes we lose hope. We may wonder if anyone has been listening. God's plan for our lives might not be our dream. His plan may be something we never imagined. Only when we let go of our dreams or ask God to reveal another plan can we live the life he's calling us to live. I love that so much that I don't even really want to read anything else, but I'm going to. That's really awesome. I've heard, it said, we make plans and God laughs. All right, now where did I put? Here we go. Calm the fuck down. I love this book. All right. We've been talking about anxiety, hence the book Calm the Fuck Down. So we are reading about the calm before the shitstorm. At this point in our journey, a word I use with the utmost sarcasm, I hope you're feeling really good about the prospects for calming the fuck down. You've been armed with the knowledge and tools to prioritize. Well, you have to have this book, I think. All right, so let's just say, as such, now is the time on Sprockets when we put everything you've learned into action. To show you how it's done, I'm returning to the what ifs from the list that we made in the beginning of this book. I already gave you my thought process for categorizing each one of those potential shitstorms. I know we read about that. If you need to look back at the most recent readings, it is in there. I've been reading this book for a couple of days now. That's where I acknowledged them. Them is her what ifs. Here I will go. Oh, I'm sorry. Here I go further. Asking myself which parts of these potential shitstorms I can control, and then accepting the answers, aka the reality of the situation. We'll start at the bottom of the shitstorm scale with my category 1s and 2s and work our way up. So we got 10 what ifs I may or may not need them to worry about. Can I control them? Okay, here we go. Category 1, highly unlikely fears. What if more tarantulas appear in my house? Can I control it? Nope. On the sliding scale of control, this is an out of my hands for the ages. When it comes to worrying about tarantulas, I'm going to just fucking let it go. And if it gets lucky and comes back a third time, I think he's officially our pet. What if I order a different pizza than usual and it isn't very good? Can I control it? Yes. But that's exactly why it's highly unlikely to happen in the first place. Every practice test has a trick question. What if my editor hates this chapter? Can I control it? Well, I definitely can control how heavily influenced this outcome is by not sending Mike a piece of shit. But then again, his opinion is his alone. However, there's one thing for sure. If I'm sitting here obsessing about what he might think about something I sent him, then I'm taking time away from finishing the rest of the book. Arguably a worse outcome, since I'm on a bit of a deadline here. So I've elected to press send and convert those worries into writing more chapters. Then, on the off chance that he does hate this one, I'll spend my FFs ordering a perfectly topped large pizza, calming the fuck down, and dealing with the revisions. Category 2. What if my house key gets stuck in the door? Can I control it? Since I don't know why it happened the first time, there's nothing I can do to ensure it doesn't happen again, except stop locking the house altogether, which invites a shitstorm of a different stripe. Nope, can't handle it, so I'll discard that worry and save my freak-out funds for conducting a little light B&E if necessary. What if a palm tree falls on my roof? Can I control it? Nope. I mean, technically, I could spend more time and energy and money on productive, helpful, effective worrying and have the 2 trees with spitting distance cut down before they can fuck with us, but they grow out of the neighbor's yard, and I don't think that she'd appreciate that. Plus, then I wouldn't get to look at them every day while I bob in my pool. The freak-out funds remain untouched for now. What if I get into a car accident on the winding mountain to the airport? Can I control it? This is a contribute to the cause situation. The reasons for the differences between the amount of freak-out funding I give to a specific gig versus the return of Lucky versus airport transaction are simple. My relative preparedness for a speech I can heavily influence, but I can't do anything about keeping the tarantula out. Spider's gonna spider. Whereas on the airport road, although I'm not driving the car myself and directly influencing the ride, I can control whether we have booked flights and have us traveling that stretch during daylight hours, and I'm not shy about asking the driver to slow down or pull over if it starts pouring rain. Control what you can, accept what you can't, and wear your seatbelt. And then one more in category 2. We'll talk about the category 3 and up the next reading. So what if I show up for a speaking gig and I totally bomb it? Can I control it? Again, yes. But the way to control this outcome is not by worrying about failing. It's by spending time and energy preparing a great talk and rehearsing the shit out of it. Whew, so productive, so helpful, so effective. And sure, there's a first time for everything, but if I worried about that, I would have used up all my freak-out funds on what if aliens invade Earth and make us their space bitches a long time ago. With 7 unlikely what-ifs on my radar, I've conserved freak-out funds by discarding my worries about 4 of them. Tarantulas, bad pizzas, stuck keys, fallen palms. And converted funds via productive, happy, effective worrying for 3 more. Speaking gig fails, seatbelts, and subsequent chapters. I've still got plenty of FFs in reserve for total shitstorms. So if category 3 and 4, or when category 5 occurs, ... And like I said, we will pick up on the category 3 shitstorm and up in the next reading. I love this book. I feel like, a lot of times my language, span really does just stick to the, fuck shit words. And so I can really relate to a lot of these things because it's, in my language. But I think that those were both really great readings. So I hope you got something out of them. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of the evening. Mwah.